Okay, good morning, afternoon, or evening to year 8s. And, year 8s, there we go. And we are looking at rounding to significant figures, which can be just as easy as soon as you know a couple little rules. I'm going to start with the rules, and I'm going to go back to the basics, go through that, and then it will get onto some harder stuff where you'll end up having more rules come into play. So, here's a number. 38,765. That is good, dot then. Comma. 38,765. What's the most significant number there? If I could say to you, right, I'm going to give you this much money, right? Boom, this is money. I'm not, just so you know, don't want anyone, sending this somewhere. This is for legal reasons. This is not what I'm going to be doing. But if I said to you, I'm going to give you this amount of money, however, I'm going to let you change any of those numbers there to a 9. Which one would you do? Think, let's change it to this to a 9? No, of course not. You would change this number to 9. And not just because it's the smallest, it's actually the smallest number. If I put, let's say this was a 1. If I said to you, you can change any of those to a 9, even though that's the smallest, that's only going to add you up £8. This is the most significant number always. That's the one that you'd want to be a 9 because that's going to make the biggest difference. That's another £60,000 opposed to £8 or £30 or £200. Okay, or £1,000 to make that a 9. So it's always going to be the most significant. It's the first number that you find on the left. Now, in a minute, I'm going to be telling you about the first non-zero number, but we'll get to that in a bit. Okay, the zeros, the first ones, don't count as much, but I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So here are two very different examples. If I want you to round these two to 3 significant figures, all right. 1, 2, 3. That's your third significant figure. So like earlier when I said round to the nearest 100, round to the nearest 1,000, round to the nearest 10, whatever, that's just finding the one that we want, the third significant figure. Now, we then look at that, and that is a 6, so it's a round up number, so we leave it as 3, 7. The 4 rounds up to 5, and then we replace those with zeros. So 37,500 is this rounded 3 sig fig. I actually say it's very different examples. They're not, because some people think the 0 doesn't count, and at this stage you might be thinking, why on earth would you think that? And you'll see in a bit why people sometimes don't count the zeros. I'll show you in a second. In fact, I'll show you with these examples here. So 1, 2, 3, that's your 3 significant figures. So we point at that one, we look at the one next to it, and that rounds it up as well. So 308 becomes 9, and then put in the 2 zeros. Okay? So just to be clear, if it's after a number, the zeros do count. If it's already after a number, the zeros do count. You might be thinking, what on earth is he on about with these zero things? I'll show you in a sec. So let's round these to 1 significant figure now. 1 significant figure, nice and easy, that first number. So I then look at that, and that tells me to round up, so that becomes 400. The next one, you might be thinking, this is the first significant figure. But there's a rule. You don't count zeros until you found another number, a non-zero, it's called a non-zero number. Basically means any other number but 0. So up here, you did count the 0 because it was after a non-zero number, a 3. But at this point, you don't actually count that one. So I'm going to put a little X there, and I'm going to underline that. And that is my first significant figure. I look at this number to see if I'm going to round up or down. It doesn't do anything because it's a 5 or lower, so it's a round down sort of thing. So I leave it as 0.5. Okay? So, you do have to have a look at the zeros. If it's a 0 at the start, before the other numbers, you ignore it. But as soon as you found the other numbers, you do need to sort of include zeros. For the first batch of questions, it's not going to affect you anyway, because I'm just going to get you to round to 1 sig fig. But as we get to the next ones, you'll need to know that. Right, pause it, have a go, unpause it, and I'll go through it. All right, let's go. Round to 1 sig fig. There's my first significant figure. So I'm going to look at that to see what around. So that's basically the same as rounding to the nearest 100. All right, I'm going to sort of talk about that as well as we go through. The next one, there's my first sig fig. So I look at that. Again, it's like rounding to the nearest 100. Oh, does that mean one sig fig is always 100? No. The next one is that's your first sig fig. That's in the tens. So that's like rounding to the nearest 10. You do the same thing, you just look at the next number. But I'm just trying to make it clear to you that one sig fig could be to the nearest 10, 100. It could even be to 5 decimal places. So it's whatever that first significant figure is. That would be the one. This one is the nearest 1,000 because the first significant figure is in the thousands. We look at that rounds it up, 6,000. Right, the first sort of tricky one here, okay? That is not the first significant figure because it is not a non-zero number, it's a 0. This is the first significant figure. You look at the 1, that moves it, that keeps it the same, sorry, so it's just 0.7. This one here is the first significant figure. If it was a 0, obviously it would do what it did above, but it's not, so we keep it there. And we look at that, that doesn't change anything. Now, this is a bit of a funny one because obviously earlier we were looking at decimal places, that would have then been written as 0, but of course with significant figures you can just write that as 8. You don't need to worry about writing 8.0. G, nope, 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 yes. That's your first significant figure, and that's what decides. So I'm going to fill all those in, and the 9 rounds it up to an 8. And the next one, there it is, and that does nothing to it, so it's just 1,000. All right, there's your answers all together for you to mark if you missed any. Right, so some trickier ones now. Remember, only ignore 0 until you hit a non-zero significant figure. So this is a perfect example, this one here. Where's the first, the second, and the third significant figure? No, 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 no. In fact, let's get those X's on to help us remember. No, 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 yeah. And once you found the first sig fig, that's the second. Okay, so that's the first. That's the third. Even though that's a 0, that still counts as 1 because it's after a non-zero. That's the fourth. Again, 0, but still counts fifth. And that's the sixth. I've only asked you the first, second, and third, but you get the idea. Oh, and that's the seventh. Okay. Next one, same question for this. Where's the first, second, and third sig fig? First one we find straight away. So do we ignore the next zeros? No. That's the second. That's the third. You only ignore the zeros if they were before your first non-zero. Right. And then, of course, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Significant figures there. So here's some practice questions for you. Now you know that. Pause it, and then I'll go through them. Okay? Right. 2 sig fig. 1, 2, there it is. And that's the one that's deciding whether it's going to go up or not. So it is a go up, so that becomes 7 becomes 8, and then chuck in 2 zeros. 1, 2. This number decides. That again makes you go up, so 3, 3, 0. 1, 2, because obviously we don't include that 0 there. And that's the deciding number. Again, it wants to go up, lots of going up ones. 1, 2, that 0 does count because it's after a 2. That's the deciding number. And that doesn't do anything to it, so we leave it as 20. Nope, nope, nope. Yes, yes, and deciding number 0.00, and the deciding number doesn't do anything, so it's 38. Nope, yep, yep. Decider, because that's your second sig fig, so 0.9, and that 8 makes that 1 go up to 2. Last batch. 3 sig fig. 1, 2, 3. There's the third sig fig. That's the decider. The one after it, always after it. 6, 7, 8, and then you've got 3 numbers there. So we just chuck in 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Decider. 2, 7, 9, 0. Because the 3 does nothing to it. 1, 2, 3. Decider. 3 doesn't do anything to it again, so 4050. 1, 2, 3, decider. The 7 does do something, so it makes that 2 go up to a 3. Okay, nope, 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 yes, yes, yes. Even though that 0 is a 0, it's after these, so it does count. Decider, 0.00370. I would accept 0.0037, but really, because you want to make it really, really obvious it's 3 sig fig, it's best to have that in there, okay? And then the last one, nope, yep, and I've deliberately made it a bit nasty, haven't I? This 9 is going to bring that 9 up. But of course, if that goes up, that becomes 10. So I do 0, carry the 1, which would make that 7 and 8. That 3 would stay as it is, and that 0 would stay as it is. So 0.380. Again, I will accept 0.38 because significant figures are not quite as fussy, but you could be marked down for it. So it's best to write the whole shebang. All right? Because that's 1, 2, 3 sig figs. Okay? See you later, guys. Bye.